Socom 2. Socom 2 online multiplayer review. Socom 2 sequel to Socom 1. Sony's first online multiplayer shooter. There were several sequels to Socom 1, Socom 2, Socom 3, Socom Combined Assault, then on the PlayStation 3, Socom Confrontation, Socom 4. So there were 2 on the PS3 and 4 on the PS2. To play the first Socom, you needed to buy a network adapter. This is very early, back in 2000, when internet gaming with consoles was just getting started. Xbox had their Halo. Sony PlayStation had Socom. And Socom stayed the flagship of Sony for a while until KILLZONE came along. And now Socom, what it was on the PlayStation 2 with the 4 games, Socom 1, 2, 3, and Combined Assault. And 3 and Combined Assault were just the same exact game in 2 different. Combined Assault was an update to 3, and they shared the same servers. So you could play with people playing Socom 3 with Combined Assault. But this is the Socom 2 review and why you should care about it. One of the things that made playing Socom 2 on the PlayStation 2 fun was the servers. And it makes Socom on the PlayStation 2 stand out among other video games all the way till today because the servers were so good. The Confrontation on the PS3 carried over the servers, but Socom 4 changed and no longer offered custom servers, custom game creation, and that really hurt Socom 4's playability. When you went on to Socom 2, you had several options. First was which room you were going to join. First you went to which server you wanted to join. You had US East, US Central, US West, and as more and more players were on, you could select a different server. So you could get East 2, East 3, East 4, East 5, Central 1, 2, 3, so on. And once you joined a server that had about 200 people in it, then you could join a room. And it started with a medley that went through every map. Then it went through demolition maps, then escort, then suppression medley, and on and on. And then under that, it went into each individual room. So you could join any individual map and just play that one endlessly. Then at the bottom, there were custom rooms that players made, and they could change the settings and make it shotguns only, or handguns only, or no explosives. Set up their own map rotations to make their own medleys. And all these options made it very easy to get into a room on a map that you wanted to play. And when you had a clan of friends to play with, it made it easy to play with others who wanted to play what you did. And you could have clan wars. And it was very user-friendly. And there's not any other game besides Battlefield 3 and 4 that I can really think of that has tried to emulate the servers of Socom on the PlayStation 2. So you can imagine what it would be like if you went on a Socom 2, went into a server, and it didn't tell you how many people were in each room. Because a lot of times there'd always be a medley going, and a lot of times there'd be Crossroads or Frostfire, Desert Glory, but there wouldn't be other maps a lot of the time. So if you didn't have the player count, you would just be sitting there trying to join rooms, waiting for other people, hoping there's people in there. And it'd be a massive waste of time. And there's been so many games that have come along that don't even tell you if there's anybody playing it. So you log on, peer-to-peer connection, and it just sits there searching for a room, searching. Sniper Elite did this, searching. You just sit there all night. You have no idea if anybody's even playing. Call of Duty, over all of its games, has managed to do a good job of showing how many people are playing. The gameplay of Socom spread out across several modes. Socom 3 and Combined Assault brought in vehicles, large maps. The small maps were part of the larger maps. So you just be in a smaller area. But Socom 1 and 2, Socom 2 having all of the Socom 1 maps plus double more, had demolition, where one team tries to get a bomb in the middle of the map and destroy the base of the other team on the other side of the map. Two teams, SEALs and terrorists, Socom U.S. Navy SEALs. Then there was suppression, which was just to kill everybody. Both teams starting on opposite sides, just like with demolition. Then there was escort on some maps, not all of them, where you had to rescue 3 hostages. So you had to go to where they were located, and the terrorists were guarding them, setting up mines, and try to get the hostages, get them to follow you, and then escort them to a safety zone. And if you manage to kill them in the process, you lost. And if the terrorists killed them while they were trying to stop your team from extracting them, then you won. And if you hid with a hostage after you had them, or if the terrorists did and you could never find them, they would win. There was some variety in the strategies involved. It's an interesting mode. There was a respawn mode on a few maps. There was a breach mode where terrorists had a base and the SEALs had to infiltrate it by blowing up some gates with C4 and had to breach into the area. Heavily defended and booby-trapped. Fun mode, very. The weapons. Socom didn't really make you unlock stuff and rank up. It wasn't the point. The point was just to play one team against the other, or respawn, just run around. So the weapons were all varied a good deal. The M16, 3-round burst, but it had a lot of power to it. The machine guns, M60s, 63s, sprayed a lot. A little bit less damage, but it could get the job done. The assault rifles all varied in the way they fired. Took skill to try to figure out the pattern. Submachine guns sprayed a lot, not a lot of power, but if you were skilled in using them, you could be kind of effective. There were silencers for the M4A1 and a Terrorist 5.52, and the SEALs had 2 silenced handguns. Lots of grenades thrown, smoke, flashbangs, C4 with tripwires, and terrorist mines that were actually kind of hard to see. So what ended up happening was it was one team versus the other team, one set of weapons versus another set of weapons, one side of a map versus the other side of a map, one person's strategy versus your strategy versus the strategies that the maps would allow for that you had to figure out. And it was almost like gambling in that a lot of times grenades and mines or enemy player locations, you could figure out where they would be a lot of the time in specific parts of the map, and when the bomb was picked up or what was actually happening during a round. You would know these things eventually. So it became a game, whereas when you're playing Call of Duty, you just running around shooting people. They've added a lot of modes, but it's respawn and You just get shot in the back all the time. The only time you got shot in the back in SOCOM was when something went wrong. And there's not a lot of games to this day. I can't really think of any. Brothers in Arms Hills Highway did it, but SOCOM was the only one. So, in conclusion, why was SOCOM 2 important? Well, SOCOM 1 was. SOCOM 2 did everything SOCOM 1 did, just a little bit better and a little bit different. SOCOM 1 was actually really good as well. A little bit slower in the aiming and the way the guns fired, and the hit detection took less. But SOCOM 2 to SOCOM 3, there's a massive step forward that was made, because SOCOM 3 was able to bring in vehicles in large maps because the fan base was there to support that. And confrontation was just a whole nother experience that went even further than SOCOM 3. Combined Assault had a whole bunch of single player content where you could go into maps and play in very small areas with about 6 different modes. In single player and co-op online with 4 players. You could play the entire campaign. You could play missions. You could play the variety of smaller area maps on one large map from a campaign. You could go online and play with other people, up to 4, and just go into one small corner of a single player map and have to kill all the people there, rescue somebody, blow up a bomb, defuse a bomb, find a document, do all kinds of stuff. So Combined Assault was the best SOCOM game that could be, with vehicles, large maps, small maps, all kinds of respawn, all kinds of options. They had downloadable content that you had to buy this Sony PlayStation magazine to get the disc to download it onto your PlayStation 2, onto your memory card, and then you had all the maps from SOCOM 2 and SOCOM 3 and Combined Assault now. It had trophy systems, a lot like the PlayStation Network, where you had to unlock things from the skills that you had, or reaching milestones in the game, beating a certain level so many times would get you a badge, trophy, whatever. Unlock some guns for single player, go all the way up to like the M320 noob tube grenade launcher, which is really difficult to get that. And then you could use it in multiplayer. There was only a couple weapons that they did that for, though. So SOCOM 2 was the step in the right direction that SOCOM 3, a lot of people would say they shouldn't have went with vehicles and large maps because it messed things up, and the way the weapons worked was different a little bit, but SOCOM 2 and all the players that bought it and liked it and voted for SOCOM 2 HD made a lot of things possible for SOCOM 3 and Combined Assault. And had a lot going for it. It was a Sony product that was created with Zipper Interactive and Sony contributing a lot of money to the development, to in-house brand like Mario is for Nintendo. So SOCOM 2 had the servers, it had the right weapon balances, it had the right clan support, it had the right strategy in map design. had it had all the right things going for it. So if you went back and played Socom 2 right now, I don't know if you'd say that it aged well. You can use your PlayStation 2, hook it in through the internet with some server support somewhere, and play Socom 2 today. But among the things that destroyed Socom on the PlayStation 2, aside from the Code 9, were other players voting people out of rooms, team killing. You could turn on and off friendly fire, which is one of the reasons a lot of people played only in custom rooms, because all the server rooms had friendly fire turned on and set for 5 minutes. You could change the time to 4 minutes or 10 minutes per round, anywhere between. So the custom server room creation had its benefits, but it also had its drawbacks in that you could lock players out. You could vote players out. You could make it only so your clan could join. Team killing was a problem a lot of the time. And then the glitchers. There were some walls people could climb into, which would let them see a large portion of the map, and you just get shot from behind a wall. And then the Code 9 came along, and lag, a lot of time, being it was old, that's what I'm saying, I don't know if you'd say it would age well, because the lag is still a problem to this day, and it was a problem back then. So, it was a good game at the time, still is, will always be. Deserves a remake. Players wanted it, never got it. Interestingly, Zipper developed a bunch of the PSP games, which came with Socom 3, came the PSP, PlayStation Portable handheld system. And there was some cross-chat between the two, where if you did something in the PSP Socom, it did something with the Socom 3, and there was some mission cross-compatibility, and then Zipper went on to make other PSP Socoms. It made something for the PS Vita, some Zero something, I forget the title of it. It's a shooter just like Socom, but it's not called Socom. So, Socom went from 1 to Combined Assault, which was an amazing, incredibly content-filled game. Single player and multiplayer servers and options galore. So much so that players wouldn't play convoy in the later Socoms with the vehicles. You couldn't find a convoy room a lot of the time. You couldn't find escort rooms at all, really. And there was so much to do that things kind of got stale in terms of variety, which Socom always was. People would always be playing Socom 1 maps, just a couple of them, and a couple Socom 2s in the medley maybe. If a bad room came along in the medley, people would leave, some people would stick it out. Be difficult to find breach medleys going a lot of times. Other times you could find them. But as things went on and more content got added, it got more and more difficult. So, Zipper, I guess, got so busy with the PSPs that they didn't have any time for the PlayStation 3 version, which the first one, Confrontation, online only. No single player at all. And the Socom 2 single player, not the, I don't know how it'd stand the test of time. Definitely playable, but I kind of found Socom 1 to be a little bit better in places, but it definitely had its high spots. So Socom 4, the last Socom, made by Zipper, debatable to whether that's a good one or not. It also had co-op online missions and a similar server style, but without custom room creation. So that really made things difficult. Could never find several of the maps and modes, ever. Just couldn't do it. I played one of the maps one time, because there was only a certain mode for that. Never played it again. And it was an interesting map too. It was set in a city, but that's SOCOM 4. So that's SOCOM 2 review. It's a classic. It's historically important. It had a lot of good stuff going for it. It had a bunch of terrible players playing it, a bunch of good players playing it. That's about it.
Zagrajmy w strzelanego. Ja pierwszy. Zabiłem go! Następny załatwiony!
dad.
Yeah, look at him back there. No, he did wrong, too. Look at him. Fuck you, man. Shut up.
Bomb planted. Destroyed. Terrorists win.